Hello and welcome back to this channel. So today's tutorial is going to be about how to draw these Christmas ornaments in Adobe Fresco. So let's just get started. So I'm going to choose a small postcard that is 6 into 4.25 inches at 300 ppi. If you cannot see it here, just go to custom size and under print you will see the small postcard option. So just click on that. So let's bring in the color palette first. You can find the link to download the color palette in the description box below. Once you're done with that, go ahead and clear all the marks that you've made and go ahead and hide your color palette layer. So let's start by creating the first one. That's the one in the center. Okay, so go ahead and create a new layer if you don't have a blank layer here. And let's go to the shape tool. You can click again if you don't see the circle. Go to basic shapes, circle, and then it'll give you a circle. And now tug on this corners of your circle and not these points because actually they'll distort the circle. So just increase the size to whatever size you want. I'll keep it somewhere here and go to your lightest red that you have on your artboard and click on fill. So once you're done, you can go ahead and click on any brush so that that circle goes away. Now let's go ahead and create one more layer. And now we're going to add some shadows. So let me quickly show you what shadows I'm going to be adding. The brush that I'm going to be using is going to be under basic soft round opacity. I have it under my favorite, so I'll be checking it from here. But to show you how I'll add the shadows, I'm just going to quickly choose some other brush. I'll go ahead and take the darkest red that we have. My shadows are going to be added in such a way that I'm going to add the dark shadow in this region. Let me increase this a bit, like this. And you see the motion of my hand? It's going to be like that. And then maybe a bit up here as well. And then I'm going to switch to white and I'll add a bit of white to the bottom like this. And then I'm going to make a circle or oval shape here with white. So this is how my shadows are going to look. But obviously this is not the brush that I'm going to use. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. And I'll go ahead and create a new layer. And I'm going to make it as a clipping mask by clicking on this button right here. Go to your pixel brushes, go to soft round opacity that I showed earlier. Let's start off with the dark color because you should always start off with the dark color. And I'm going to add some lines. But as I see, the brush size is really small. So undo with your 2-finger tap and increase the size. You should figure this out for yourself, like which looks good. So I'm going to add a subtle shadow, as you can see. I'm not pressing my brush too much like this. No, that doesn't look good. So I'm going to add shadow all the way up till down here. Something like that. Add a bit to the top as well. Okay, that looks good. Now let's go to white. I'm going to add a bit of shadow here in the bottom. And obviously some here. And now you can see it's kind of created a 3D effect, right? So, okay. So now if you want, I think I'm going to change the color of the red because I don't like this pink. So I'll go back to the layer which has a circle. Go to your other red that you have. Go to your fill tool and click on it. And it creates this another red colored element. Okay. If you are happy with the shadow, you can stop it here. Otherwise, you can go ahead and add a bit more shadow and make it more prominent. But now let's go ahead and add some designs to this. So click on the layer that you have the circle. Click on mask layer contents and we're going to swipe right so that we are on the layer like this. And let's go ahead and pick up some golden color. And I think this is the golden color that I want. So I'll go ahead and choose a different brush and I'm thinking about choosing, let's go to basic hard round. I think let's do that. And now I'm going to make some design. So let me just decrease the size and my design is going to be something like this. If you want, you can go ahead and decrease the size even more. I want the design to be a little flat here, like that. And like this. I think that looks fine. And now let's go ahead and make a cap for this. So I'm just going to go ahead above the clipping mask layer, click on plus to create a new layer. Let's go to shapes again. This time we want a rectangle. So go to basic shapes, click on square, and we will reduce the size like this and place it somewhere on top like that. I think that should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and color it with some yellow that I have, or maybe this golden yellow itself, and click on fill. And we'll do a vector fill for this, okay? And go back to your brushes, and before you start doing anything, I'm going to go ahead and go to my eraser tool, go right in here and reduce the size and create ridges like this. Like that. And maybe round this up a little. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to add some shadows. So go ahead and click on a new layer, click on a clipping mask. And now let's go ahead and choose the darker orange that we have. And I'm going to go back to my soft round opacity brush that I have. And now the way I'm going to add shadow is I'm going to add a little bit in the end. You have to reduce the size for this. So add this at the end and add a bit here as well. Now let's go to white, add it here in the center and a slight touch in the corner like this. So once you scroll out, you can see that you have created a kind of a shadow for this. But now we also have to create some shadow below here. So I'll go to my clipping mask that we did. I'll just go here and choose some black. And you can reduce the opacity if you want by clicking on this and then bringing this down. And I'm going to use that same brush to slightly add a bit of shadow in here. This shouldn't be much, there should be very little, but I think this looks fine, right? And then once you're done, there's only one thing left, that's to add a thread. And click on your golden, and let's go back and choose any brush that you want, hard round or whatever. And this is too big. Let's reduce the size. Let's go to this clipping mask and click on a new layer and draw a line. You can actually put this below the rectangle because that'll be better. Something like this. So first one is ready, and it was super simple, wasn't it? You can actually go ahead and edit these things. I'll go to my clipping mask again. I'll go click on the red one, go to soft round opacity, and I'm going to definitely increase this size. And I think I want to give a subtle change here like that. A bit like that, and that should be good. But I want this to be a little more bright, so I'm going to go ahead and select white and make this a little more brighter like that. Maybe give a little bright here as well. So this is ready, and let's do the next one now. Now let's create a new layer here and go below the circle and make sure it's not a clipping mask, and let's go to the shapes. And again, you can go to basic shapes and click on circle. Okay, it's perfectly circle now. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it here. And this one, I'm going to make it a little smaller than the original one so that it looks a little different. Okay, that looks cool. Now for color, we're going to paint it a little bit gray. I think this gray, not too dark, not the dark one, but the little lighter one. Click on fill and let's do a vector fill. Let's add some shadows. Click on a new layer, click on clipping mask. Let's go here, take out the darker shadow that we have, and obviously go to your soft round opacity brush, and you can reduce this how much ever you want, and let's draw some shadows. If you feel it's too light, you can always go ahead and check the darker gray that we have and make it something like this. That looks good. I'm going to go to white and add a bit of a shadow here and obviously a bit over here. So now it looks like a 3D. So let's go ahead and create a clipping mask. You have to convert it if it's a vector, so it's okay. And then swipe. Let's go ahead and choose the hard round brush, but I'm going to make it really tiny, and I've chosen white for this. And now I'll create some snowflakes. It's so easy to create snowflakes, like you just have to draw across another one and then something like this. Then you obviously draw some extenders like that. Do tiny ones as well. Go ahead and draw some things that is out of this circle. Okay, and then let's fill in some. It's like this. Okay, that looks good. Now it's time to create the crown for this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on a new layer and go back to your rectangle tool now, or square, and let's reduce this. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and give the darker or the lightest kind of off-white and fill it. You can give anything. Let's give it as pixel. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to eraser tool. Remember we did that. So we'll do the same thing here. And maybe round it up a little bit. It looks good. And I'll go to my brush again and I'll go to hard round and draw a complete line like this. So it's connected. Okay. Now it's time to add shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and click on a new layer, a clipping mask. Let's go ahead and choose the darker gray that we had. And obviously go to your soft round opacity brush, change the size, a little shadow on this corner, a little shadow on this corner, and then go ahead and choose some white. Let's give a bit of highlight here. And now let's go back to the circle and choose black. And we'll add a little bit of shadow. Okay, so your second one is ready as well. Now it's for the third one. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go above. Yeah, we could do that. We could go all the way up, click on a new layer, go to your circle again. So let's go back. Basic shape, circle. Again, click on circle. And let's increase the size. But this one's going to be a bit smaller. And the color, I'm going to give it bright yellow and click on fill and pixel because why not? Let's click on that and now click on a new layer, create a clipping mask, and now let's choose a little dark yellow. I think this one should be fine. Go back to your soft round opacity. It's too tiny, too big. Yeah, this looks good. Add some shadows while you're at it. Add some highlights with your white. It's too big. Like that. Should be good. And a bit over there. Okay, so this looks good as well. And now let's go ahead and add some design elements to it. So let's go ahead and click on the circle, click again, mask layer contents, swipe. I'm going to go ahead and choose black. And I'm going to draw tiny, tiny stars with my hard round brush. Once you're done, you can add some dots here and there. You can also add some lines. Okay, so once you're done with that, again, we're going to add some crown to this. So let's go ahead to the clipping mask and click up so that we have one more layer on top. Again, go to your shape. We're going to do the same thing. Go to square, reduce the size. Let's choose a little darker color, maybe this orange. Click on fill, pixel, and now let's go to the eraser tool and kind of erase it off. Okay, and now go to your hard round brush. With the same color, draw a line. I think I'll choose a bigger one now. Okay, that looks fine. No, you said, and a line like that. Okay, let's add some shadows to this. To click on new layer, clipping mask. Go ahead and choose a bit darker color and our soft round opacity. It's too big, so I'll reduce the size. This corner, and then choose some white and put something here like that. You can reduce this and a bit in the corner like that. And obviously we need to add some shadow to that. So go to your black and add a bit of a shadow there. Not too much, it should be a bit subtle, only then it'll look good. Okay, that looks fine. And now for the final touches. So we're going to go ahead all the way to the down, that is right above our image layer. Click on a new layer, go to your fill tool and make sure you select black and click and let's select vector fill. So everything is now black. So click on new layer again. Now we're going to apply some ink splatter. Go to your pixel brushes, go to your effects. And in here, you'll see something called as Splatter 1, Splatter 2, and Splatter Mix. I'm going to try with Splatter 2. And obviously, we want some golden yellow color. And you just go ahead and add some like that. That's it. It's done. And for this one right here, I've used a lighter gray, and I think it will look much better if you used a bit darker gray, something like this maybe. But now since I've already applied the design, it might not work. Let's try it out. It works. Okay, so I made it darker. You can actually make it even more darker if you want. There you go. It's even more darker. And obviously you can go back here and change the setting. So this is the beauty of actually working with different layers so that you can go ahead and modify stuff later. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this tutorial and I hope you liked it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. So I just want to end this video by saying happy holidays to everyone. I hope you have a wonderful break and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.